First contact and invasion. The skies above Chicago darkened without warning on a Tuesday morning in May. It wasn't storm clouds that blocked the sun. It was something massive and not of this world. General Samantha Walsh stood on the roof of the North American Defense Command, staring upward as an enormous vessel, at least 2 miles across, hovered silently above the city skyline. Similar reports were flooding in from Beijing, London, Rio de Janeiro, and Sydney. 5 ships, each the size of a small island, had appeared in Earth's atmosphere without warning. Any contact established, Walsh asked her communications officer, pressing the earpiece deeper as if that might somehow improve reception. Nothing, General. We've broadcast on all frequencies, radio, microwave, even using the quantum array. They're not responding. Walsh frowned. Humanity had prepared for this moment theoretically, first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, but all the protocols assumed communication would precede any physical encounter. No one had planned for 5 city-sized warships appearing unannounced over major population centers. "Keep trying," she ordered, then spoke into her secure line. "Get me the president." In a research lab 30 floors below, Dr. Marcus Chen worked frantically to analyze the strange energy signatures emanating from the alien craft. He had spent his career at SETI, searching for evidence of intelligent life beyond Earth. Now that they were here, a knot of dread formed in his stomach. "These readings don't make sense," he muttered to his assistant. "They're building up power, but the configuration isn't like any propulsion system I can imagine. It's more like..." He got his answer 90 seconds later. A blinding beam of energy lanced down from the alien vessel, striking the center of Grant Park. Everything within a half-mile radius was instantly vaporized. The shockwave shattered glass across downtown Chicago, sending deadly shards flying through crowded streets. Before anyone could process what was happening, a second beam hit the financial district. Similar attacks began simultaneously in every city with an alien ship above it. No warning, no demands, just destruction. "This isn't first contact," Walsh said grimly as she watched the devastation unfold on emergency monitors. "This is an invasion." Within the first hour, over 3 million people died worldwide. Military forces scrambled to respond, but conventional weapons, missiles, fighter jets, even tank shells, seemed to bounce harmlessly off invisible shields surrounding the alien ships. In the Pentagon's Emergency Command Center, Admiral James Rodriguez slammed his fist on the table. "We need to hit them with everything we've got. Authorize nuclear release." "That would kill millions of our own people," the Secretary of Defense argued. "They're already killing millions," Rodriguez shot back. "And they won't stop until we show them we can fight back." The president gave the order with a heavy heart. Humanity would not surrender without a fight, even if the cost was unimaginable. What happened next surprised everyone, especially the aliens. Captain Diana Harris led the first successful counterattack from Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. Instead of targeting the alien ship directly, Harris noticed a pattern in their attack sequence. There was a 3-second vulnerability in their shields when they fired their main weapon. "All squadrons, target point Gamma 7 when I give the mark." Harris ordered her pilots. "Wait for them to charge their weapon. Hit them precisely when they fire." 18 fighter jets waited in position as the alien ship began its next attack run on Las Vegas. They struck simultaneously at the exact moment of shield weakness. The explosion wasn't large, but it damaged one of the ship's secondary engines. Black smoke poured from the wound as the massive vessel tilted awkwardly in the sky. It worked, someone shouted over the comm channel. Harris remained focused. Again, same target. Don't get cocky. The second strike hit harder. The alien ship began to lose altitude, crashing into the empty desert miles from any population center. Similar tactics were quickly shared with military forces worldwide. By the end of the first day, humanity had managed to bring down 3 of the 5 alien ships. The cost was tremendous. Nearly 20 million dead, major cities in ruins, and the environment damaged by both alien weapons and the desperate nuclear strikes that followed. But something unexpected happened. The remaining two alien ships retreated to high orbit, apparently shocked by Earth's resistance. They didn't expect us to fight back effectively, Dr. Chen observed as he studied readings from the damaged alien ship in the Nevada desert. They thought this would be easy. While the world began to assess the damage, a small alien craft detached from one of the remaining ships. It descended rapidly, landing near the research facility where Captain Harris and her team were inspecting the crash site. Before anyone could react, a squad of tall, copper-skinned beings emerged and grabbed Captain Harris, who had been coordinating the investigation. They disappeared back into their craft, which shot into the sky before fighter jets could respond. They took her, Lieutenant Torres reported to General Walsh. They took Harris. Walsh's face hardened. Then they're not just invaders. They're kidnappers too. In the weeks that followed, humanity began to rebuild while preparing for the aliens' inevitable return. Every nation set aside their differences, pooling resources and knowledge to develop new weapons and defenses. The crashed alien ships provided valuable technology that scientists like Dr. Chen worked day and night to understand. 3 months after what became known as the First Wave, a discovery changed everything. In a secure underground lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, Chen managed to activate a communication device from one of the alien ships. It's some kind of recording, he told General Walsh as they watched holographic images of the aliens speaking in their strange clicking language. I think it's their mission briefing before they attacked Earth. Though they couldn't understand the words, the images showed maps of Earth with certain regions highlighted, mostly areas rich in rare minerals and water resources. They didn't come here for conquest, Chen realized. They came here for resources. We're just in their way. Walsh nodded grimly. Then we need to make sure we're too much trouble to be worth it. And they would come back. Everyone knew that. The question was how much time humans had to prepare. In orbit around Jupiter's moon Europa, hidden from Earth's detection systems, Captain Diana Harris awoke in a small cell aboard the alien mothership. Her captors studied her daily, astonished by human resilience and adaptability. What they didn't realize was that Harris studied them too, memorizing their language, technology, and weaknesses. Your primitive species surprised us, the alien commander told her through a crude translation device. But the Exarathi Empire has conquered hundreds of worlds. Your resistance is temporary. Harris didn't respond, but inwardly she smiled. These aliens, the Exarathi, had made a critical mistake. They had judged humanity by its technology, not by its spirit. And they had taken her alive instead of killing her, giving her the chance to learn about them. One day, she promised herself, she would escape. She would return to Earth with knowledge that might save her species. Because if there was one thing she had learned about these aliens, it was that they always finished what they started. Earth had won the first battle, but the war was just beginning. 6 years passed since the first wave attack. Earth had changed dramatically. Where once stood hundreds of nations with their own agendas and armies, now stood a united planet under the Earth Defense Alliance. Old enemies worked together, borders became less important, and humanity focused on a single goal: survival. General Walsh, now promoted to oversee the Global Defense Initiative, stood at the window of the new headquarters built into Mount Rainier. The facility had been designed to withstand any attack from above. Through the reinforced glass, she could see the massive construction projects that dotted the Cascade Range: weapon platforms, shield generators, and research facilities. General, you need to see this, Lieutenant Torres said, interrupting her thoughts. Now a full colonel, Torres had become Walsh's right hand in the years since the attack. Walsh followed him to the central command room where Dr. Chen waited. His hair had gone completely gray, and permanent dark circles rested under his eyes, the result of working almost non-stop for 6 years. I've done it, he said, unable to hide his excitement. I've cracked their language. He activated a holographic display showing strange symbols that shifted and changed. The Xarethi language works on 3 levels simultaneously. It's not just sound, but also light patterns and electromagnetic signals. That's why our initial translation attempts failed. Walsh studied the display. Can we communicate with them now? Better than that, Chen replied. I can translate everything we recovered from their ships, including their databases, tactical information, and military communications. Torres whistled. That's a game changer. There's more, Chen continued. We received a transmission from Europa orbit an hour ago. It was weak, encoded in their language but with a human pattern. He looked up at Walsh with hope in his eyes. It's Harris. She's alive, and she's coming home. 3 days later, Walsh stood in a secure hangar beneath Mount Rainier. A small alien craft had been detected entering Earth's atmosphere, evading detection until the last possible moment using technology far beyond human capabilities. It had transmitted a single message in the Xarethi language. Friendly. Harris returning. Do not shoot. The craft landed smoothly. Its door opened with a hiss, and out stepped a woman who barely resembled the captain Diana Harris who had been taken 6 years ago. She was thinner, her once black hair streaked with white, despite being only 34 years old. Strange metallic implants were visible at her temples and along her right arm. General, Harris said, her voice rough from disuse. Permission to return to duty. Walsh stepped forward and embraced the woman, protocol forgotten. Welcome home. The final stand. After medical examinations confirmed Harris was indeed human and not carrying any alien bioweapons or tracking devices, she met with Earth's Leadership Council. The story she told changed their understanding of the threat they faced. They call themselves the Xarethi Empire, Harris explained, pointing to a holographic map of the galaxy. They control about 20% of our galactic arm. They're not a single species, but a coalition of 4 different alien races united under a central government ruled by the copper-skinned beings we encountered first. Chen leaned forward. And their interest in Earth. Resources, primarily, Harris confirmed. Our planet has an unusually high concentration of rare elements they need for their technology. But there's more to it. Her face darkened. In their culture, expanding territory is how they measure success. They're constantly looking for new worlds to claim. Did they know we were here? That Earth was inhabited, asked Admiral Rodriguez. Harris nodded. They knew. They just didn't care. In their hierarchy of species, we ranked as primitives, barely more advanced than animals, not worth negotiating with. She touched one of the implants at her temple. They put these in me to study how humans think. They were shocked by how quickly I adapted, how fast I learned their language and technology. What happened during your captivity? Walsh asked gently. Harris's eyes showed a flash of pain before she continued. I was kept on their command ship orbiting Europa. They thought they'd broken me, turned me into a cooperative test subject. I played along, gaining their trust while learning everything I could. When they finally let me work as a maintenance technician, I spent months planning my escape. She pulled a small data crystal from her pocket. I stole this before I left. It contains technical specifications for their most advanced weapons, shield systems, and faster-than-light travel technology. With this, we might have a chance when they return. When will that be? Walsh asked, the question everyone feared. 1 year. Maybe less, Harris answered grimly. They're assembling a much larger force. The next attack won't be 5 ships. It will be hundreds. The next day, Harris stood with Dr. Chen in his laboratory as they connected the alien data crystal to Earth's most advanced computer system. We've made progress with their technology, Chen explained as information began flooding the screens around them. We've reverse-engineered their shield systems and energy weapons, but their faster-than-light drive has been beyond our understanding. Harris pointed to one of the schematics appearing on screen. This is what you need. Their FTL drive works by creating a quantum bubble that exists partially outside normal spacetime. It doesn't move the ship through space. It moves space around the ship. Chen stared at the equations with wonder. This changes everything. With this technology, we could build our own starships. We'll need them, Harris said, because there's something else I learned during my captivity. Earth isn't alone in being targeted by the Xarathi Empire. There are dozens of other worlds facing the same threat. Some fighting back, others already conquered. Over the following months, Harris worked closely with scientists and military leaders, sharing everything she had learned. Earth's defense platforms were upgraded with more powerful weapons. A prototype quantum disruptor was built that could theoretically tear apart an alien ship from the inside. And deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, engineers began construction on humanity's first faster-than-light-capable vessel. During this time, Harris frequently found herself working alongside Dr. Chen. Despite the constant pressure and looming threat, they developed a close friendship. He was one of the few people who didn't treat her differently because of her implants or her time with the aliens. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm still human," Harris admitted to him one night as they worked late in the lab. "They changed parts of me. I think in their language sometimes." Chen placed his hand on hers. "You're human where it counts, Diana. You came back to help us. That took courage no alien could understand." "They underestimate us," Harris said. "That's their weakness. They think in terms of technology levels and resources. They don't understand human determination or creativity." Chen smiled. "Then we'll show them." 2 months before the estimated return of the Xarathi fleet, Earth completed its orbital defense grid, a network of 500 platforms armed with quantum disruptors, energy cannons, and missile systems. The first human starship, named Defiance, was ready for its test flight, and deep in secure facilities around the world, thousands of soldiers trained with new weapons designed to fight the aliens on the ground if necessary. General Walsh stood with Harris on the observation deck of the lunar base, looking back at Earth. From there, the planet seemed peaceful, its blue oceans and white clouds showing no sign of the frantic preparations below. "Do you think we have a chance?" Walsh asked. Harris considered the question carefully. "They're coming back with more ships, more advanced weapons. By all logical calculations, we should lose." She turned to face the general. "But they don't understand what they created when they attacked us. They united humanity in a way nothing else could have, and they gave us time to prepare. Time you helped us use wisely." Walsh nodded toward Earth. "We're no longer the primitives they attacked 6 years ago. We've learned their language, their technology, their weaknesses. And most importantly," Harris's eyes hardened with determination, "we've learned that they can bleed." As if answering her words, a distant flash appeared near Mars. The early warning system immediately blared an alarm throughout the base. The second wave had arrived. The alarm echoed through the lunar base as Harris and General Walsh rushed to the command center. Massive holographic displays showed the approaching alien fleet, not 5 ships as before, but over 300 vessels of various sizes surrounding a central command ship 3 times larger than anything seen in the first wave. "They're not wasting time," Walsh said, watching as the fleet accelerated toward Earth. "All defense stations. This is General Walsh. Battle positions. This is not a drill." Across Earth's orbit, the 500 defense platforms powered up their weapons. On the ground, civilians moved into underground shelters built during the 6-year preparation period. Military forces took their positions at key strategic locations. Harris studied the approaching formation with experienced eyes. "They're using standard Xarathi attack pattern. The smaller ships will form a protective screen while the larger vessels position for planetary bombardment, just like you predicted." Walsh nodded. "Let's hope our countermeasures work as well." She turned to the communications officer. "Patch me through to all Earth forces." When the connection was established, her voice rang out to every soldier, pilot, and civilian worker involved in Earth's defense. 6 years ago, they came to our world believing we were easy prey. They killed millions before we drove them away. Today they return thinking their numbers will make a difference. They're wrong. We have studied them. We have prepared for them. We know their weaknesses. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will never be victims again. Stand firm. Fight smart. Protect our home. The alien fleet entered lunar orbit exactly as Harris had predicted they would, using Earth's moon to shield their approach. They didn't expect what happened next. Now, Walsh ordered. Concealed beneath the lunar surface, 100 quantum disruptors activated simultaneously. These weapons, based on alien technology but refined by human ingenuity, didn't fire energy or projectiles. Instead, they created localized distortions in the quantum fabric of reality. The effect was devastating. 30 alien ships at the front of the formation were caught in suddenly warping quantum fields. Metal hulls crumpled like paper as the fundamental forces holding matter together fluctuated wildly. Ships collided with each other, their own engines tearing them apart as they fought against the impossible distortions. For a moment, silence filled the command center as everyone watched the destruction unfold. Then a cheer erupted. "They're breaking formation," Harris observed. "They didn't expect us to have this technology." The remaining alien fleet scattered, then regrouped, adjusting their approach to avoid the lunar quantum weapons. As they neared Earth, they faced the full orbital defense grid. "All platforms, engage at will," Walsh ordered. Space lit up with energy beams, missile contrails, and explosions as Earth's defenses met the alien attack head-on. The Xerathi had superior numbers, but Earth had the advantage of fighting from prepared positions with weapons specifically designed to counter alien technology. On the main display, Harris watched as alien ships tried to penetrate the defense grid. "They're adapting quickly," she warned. "Their flagship is coordinating new attack patterns." "Can we target their command ship?" Walsh asked. Chen shook his head. "It's staying behind the main fleet, protected by their strongest shields." "Then we stick to the plan," Walsh decided. "Defense grid, maintain position. Defiance, you are cleared to launch." From a hidden base beneath the Atlantic Ocean, Earth's first starship rose. Unlike the massive alien vessels, Defiance was small and sleek, designed for speed and stealth rather than overwhelming firepower. Its mission wasn't to engage the fleet directly, but to target the one weakness Harris had discovered during her captivity. Colonel Torres guided Defiance through the chaos of battle, using the ship's advanced stealth systems to avoid detection. "Approaching position," he reported. "Ready to execute Phase 2. While the aliens focused on breaking through Earth's orbital defenses, they failed to notice the small human ship slipping past their formation. Defiance approached the massive flagship from behind, targeting a specific section Harris had identified, the central communication array that coordinated the entire fleet. "We're in position," Torres reported. "Deploying payload." Defiance released dozens of small drones that attached themselves to the flagship's hull. These weren't weapons, but specialized signal disruptors designed to infiltrate the alien communication systems. In the Lunar Command Center, Chen monitored the operation. "Disruptors online. Initiating signal override now." For 3 critical seconds, the alien fleet lost all communication with their command ship. In those seconds, Earth's defense grid concentrated all firepower on specific weak points in the alien formation. 40 more enemy ships were destroyed or disabled before they could reorganize. "It's working," Walsh exclaimed. "Their coordination is failing." But the Xerathi Empire wasn't defeated so easily. The flagship quickly adapted, switching to backup communication systems. The remaining ships, still over 200 strong, regrouped and pressed their attack with renewed determination. "They're breaking through in Sector 4, a tactical officer reported as several alien ships slipped past damaged defense platforms. Harris studied the tactical display. "They're heading for the Antarctic Defense Complex. That's where we're manufacturing the quantum disruptors." Walsh made a quick decision. "Ground forces, prepare for invasion. All available air support to Antarctic sector." The battle shifted to Earth's surface as 7 alien landing craft descended through the atmosphere. They landed on the ice of Antarctica, deploying ground forces to attack the heavily fortified human facility. Admiral Rodriguez commanded the ground defense from a bunker beneath the complex. All units engage according to training protocols. Remember, these aren't invincible gods. They're aliens who can die just like anyone else. The fighting was intense. Alien soldiers used advanced energy weapons and power armor, but humans had spent years preparing for this exact scenario. Soldiers equipped with reverse-engineered alien technology held defensive positions around the facility, while armored vehicles counterattacked from hidden bunkers. What surprised the aliens most wasn't the human technology, but their adaptability. When energy shields blocked direct attacks, human forces used the environment against them, collapsing ice shelves onto alien positions and deploying specialized electromagnetic pulses that disrupted their armor systems. In orbit, the battle continued. Earth's defense grid was taking heavy damage, but inflicting significant losses on the alien fleet. Defiance continued its hit-and-run attacks, targeting enemy communications and sensors. 8 hours into the battle, the tide began to turn. The alien fleet, having lost nearly 2/3 of its ships, altered its strategy. A single large vessel broke through the weakened defenses and positioned itself above the Antarctic complex. "They're preparing to fire their main weapon," Harris warned, recognizing the energy signature. "If that hits the facility, all our ground forces will be lost." Walsh faced an impossible choice: divert orbital defenses to protect Antarctica, leaving other regions vulnerable, or sacrifice the complex and everyone defending it. Before she could decide, Torres's voice came through the comm system. "Defiance moving to intercept. We have one quantum torpedo remaining." "Torres, that's too close," Walsh protested. "Your ship won't survive the blast radius." "Neither will theirs," Torres replied calmly. "It's been an honor, General." Defiance accelerated directly toward the alien vessel, dodging defensive fire as it closed the distance. At the last possible moment, it fired its final weapon, a concentrated quantum disruptor similar to the lunar weapons, but miniaturized at great cost. The explosion created a temporary rift in space-time that consumed both Defiance and the alien ship. The quantum shockwave damaged several nearby alien vessels, creating chaos in their formation. On the ground, Rodriguez seized the opportunity. "All units, counterattack now. They're disorganized." Human forces surged forward, overwhelming the alien ground troops. In orbit, the defense grid concentrated fire on the remaining enemy ships, many of which had been damaged by the quantum shockwave. 12 hours after the battle began, it was over. The Xarathi flagship, seeing more than 80% of its fleet destroyed, began a retreat. The few surviving alien ships activated their faster-than-light drives, disappearing into the blackness of space. In the Lunar Command Center, exhausted personnel watched in disbelief as the enemy fled. "We did it," Chen whispered. "We actually did it." Harris nodded, her expression grim. "But they'll be back." "Unless." "Unless what?" Walsh asked. Harris turned to her. "Unless we show them that attacking Earth again would mean their complete destruction." In the days that followed, Earth rebuilt its damaged defenses while preparing for what Harris had proposed, the most audacious plan in human history. Using the faster-than-light technology recovered from the alien ships, 3 new human vessels were constructed, each carrying a special payload. 1 month after the Battle of Earth, these ships departed the solar system, guided by the navigational data Harris had stolen. Their destination, the homeworld of the Xarathi Empire. They didn't go to attack or to seek vengeance. They went to deliver a message. When the human ships appeared in orbit around the Xarathi homeworld, they'd broadcast a single message in the aliens' own language, accompanied by detailed technical specifications of a weapon Earth had developed, a quantum cascade device that could theoretically destabilize a star. The message was simple: strike Earth again, and your son dies next. This is humanity's final warning. The human ships returned to Earth without firing a single shot. Whether the Xarathi believed the threat or not didn't matter. The doubt had been planted. 2 years later, Earth launched its first colonization vessels to nearby star systems. Humanity had survived its trial by fire and emerged stronger than ever before. The quantum technologies adapted from alien science had opened the stars to human exploration. Diana Harris stood on the observation deck of Defiance II, watching as Earth grew smaller behind them. Dr. Chen joined her, his hand finding hers in the dim light. "Do you think they'll come back?" he asked. Harris shook her head. "I don't think so. The Exarathi respect strength above all else. We showed them ours. And if they do," Harris smiled grimly, "then they'll learn that humanity's warning wasn't a bluff." As Defiance I activated its quantum drive, propelling the ship toward Alpha Centauri, Harris thought about how far humanity had come in just 8 years, from a divided planet of warring nations to a unified species taking its first steps into the galaxy. The Exarathi had meant to conquer Earth. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. And in doing so, they had ensured that whenever humanity encountered other alien civilizations, it would do so not as prey, but as equals. Earth had delivered its final warning to the stars. "We will not be victims. We will defend our home. Attack us again, and you will cease to exist." The galaxy would never be the same.